Hey, welcome to the Midwest Sesh. We're two women from the Midwest who work really hard, and we love weed. Nina and I really miss hanging out with our friends, seeing our families, sharing joints in person. Life is just a little different because of COVID. So we're trying to have some fun. We decided to start the Midwest Sesh, a cannabis conversation podcast. This is a space where we can hang out online with all of you and share a joint virtually. So join us Friday nights as we enjoy all things weed. Hey, welcome to the Midwest Sesh episode 2. This is Haley. I'm here with my gal Nina.
Yay, we're so excited to chat with you guys today for episode 2. Thank you guys for tuning in and listening to the Midwest Sesh podcast. We're super excited to chat with you guys, sesh with you guys. So if you need to, pack a bowl, roll a joint. I got a bowl packed. What about you, Haley?
I have a joint. I need to roll mega quick,
Yes.
but I'm a mega quick. I got it. But I'm so excited to be like dad vibes here. And I like that you're in your dad vibe bit. I'm in my dad vibe outfit.
Yes. Yeah, I'm rocking a flannel. Haley's got a sweet like hunting, like wildlife, deer, like this is like Midwest
a lot going on.
Sesh to the T, because she's ready to hit the hunting. She's ready to go hunting. Pretty much. What's more dad than hunting in the Midwest, right?
Nina, you look like a cool, like hip dad. I'm like the old school, like Ron from Parks and Rec dad.
Yeah,
it's like I'm a grump.
Sponsor.
I'm a big got some grumpy vibes over here.
I love it so much. What are you rolling up into your joint tonight?
So I've got a little bit of shake, which straight up, shake's not my favorite. I just kind of accidentally bought this. It's called Shine and Grind Indica. It's called
I bought that before.
Have you bought that? Okay.
Yeah,
it's Black Afghan. So it's like
okay,
indica.
Cool.
Yeah.
Cool.
My critique of it is like when you open it and look in it, it's so keefy. Like
yes.
One time I worked as a joint roller and my job was to like grind it up. And when you have bunches of like weed to grind, we used a coffee grinder, which mortifies me now because it's too fine. Like your grinder has like multiple layers, right? Where you can do
yes, I got the new one, the newbie.
Oh,
if you're watching the YouTube, you can see my new fancy. It's like magnetic. I'm still like trying to get used to it, but it like claps together. It's cool. It's some cool stuff. But I know what you mean. Like the shake and stuff can get really, really fine. Really, like it's almost, some of it's almost keef at that point, and that stuff just burns up. You know. As soon as you light the bowl, as soon as you
a bowl, it's like but for a joint, it's different. So
it's different. I've definitely people are like, never buy shake, but sometimes I'll buy it just like and roll a ton of joints with it.
Exactly.
And just have like joints on deck, like my own little pre-rolls, because I'm like, whatever, it's really cheap here. It's like the cheapest stuff you can buy in Illinois is definitely the shake.
Which, unfortunately,
yes. Actually, it's kind of a bummer.
You inspired me last week when you were talking about like your grinder and different things. I was like, I need to step it up and get a really legit grinder like you have. So that's going to come. But for now, we'll just use this shake. Look at these big old papers I got. They're like big boys. I got Futurola papers.
Yes, those are huge. I love it. That's a post-work joint if I've ever seen one myself.
Yeah, this is like a definite dad joint where it's like you're gonna share this with somebody, you know, like I'm super weird. I tear part of it off. Do you do that? I think it's too much paper, so I always tear it. I don't know.
Love that. I've never done that.
I'm like trying to make it tricky on myself.
I love that. I think that's like the spirit of dad weed is like sharing.
Yes.
To me, that's like all about like, you know, you have friends who are dads who smoke. You have maybe your dad who smokes. I know my dad definitely smokes. Is your papa a smoker?
You know what? My pop is not. He's like
not
super
around.
He's super a straight edge person because he's been a runner for his whole life. Like he's a like athlete. Like he runs like 10 miles a day kind of guy.
Shit, that's crazy.
He's done it since he was like in college. Like I remember being like, Dad, have you ever even been drunk? And he's like,
No.
Actually, I don't think so. I was like,
Oh my God.
Yeah.
That's so funny.
Yeah. He's like, I just always had baseball practice and then track. And so, yeah, I just
Too
never
much
been
to
done.
do.
Like, okay. Yeah. It's kind of funny.
Too
I think
athletic to get stoned. I feel
he's
that.
never smoked weed. And like, he's a bus driver. My dad is. So he really can't like smoke or like have that in his system at all. But
Okay.
last time we went to Colorado, I did make him take us to a dispensary because I was like, Dad, this is my work. Like, I want you to see it. And so he, like you said before, you've taken, or your mom dropped you off at it.
Yes.
Space. But yeah, it was really cool. He was like really proud. He's like, wow, that was not sketchy at all. That was actually like really, I'm like, see, I told you.
You're like, see, it's like legit. I'm telling you. Oh my God, that's so funny. That's so fun. I feel like I was talking about this with somebody else that like the dads who do smoke are kind of coming out of the like the woodwork now that like things are more, when they were younger, it was just like reefer madness. So everybody was, the devil's lettuce, you can't be smoking that, you're blah, blah, blah. And now that like, that is just like not the case anymore. I feel like the dads are like, well, like maybe I smoke what? Like maybe I smoke, they're kind of sneaking out.
Right? Like,
yeah.
I feel that hard. This is so fine. I wish you could see like how fine it is. It's like mega like keefy, but this will be good. This will be a good joint. Anytime I smoke or think of dad weed, I think of actually the reason we're having this episode is my best friend's dad passed away this past week. And he was someone that shared joints with me often. And he was one of those people that didn't believe in like tips. Like he would roll joints.
Oh my goodness.
And he would roll like 3 at a time and then like have them going around the room. But he just loved talking to people. Like he loved sitting around the kitchen table. And like when I would come over, he'd be like, take a seat, Haley. And he'd just ask me to like tell him about his week, shit like that. And it was just like I was part of the family, and we would just,
love that so much.
Yeah. And there's something about prepping a joint because it takes a minute, like it takes like, I don't know, a couple minutes at least. So I always remember him like grinding it up and like listening to me and just like tapping his grinder out and listening. And it's just like,
that's so sweet.
Such a sweet guy. Yeah. That was part of his like obituary is like, he loved instant coffee and sitting around the table with his family and just talking. And it's like, that's
so sweet. Yeah. That's like, I feel like the base of like what everybody needs these days is just like a good cup of coffee, a good chat with like people you love, people you want to hang with. And I think that's what we're all kind of missing at this point. And it sucks, know?
And whether you have a dad or not, I feel like we all miss like that camaraderie of just like, hey, take the load off. Let's tell me about your day, like stuff like that. He's going to be very, very missed. And I did go to the visitation yesterday, which boy, what a thing I have not been out of the house in like a long time, because having COVID myself. So this is like the first social interaction I had in a long time. But I went to this visitation. It was socially distanced at a barn, like where there were doors open. So you could like have like plenty of fresh air. Which is so dad. That's like the most dad place to have
that, outside, like open air.
Yeah.
That's so funny.
But it was good. They had like Led Zeppelin playing, like all his faves, it was a party he would have wanted to be at, which was the part that sucked the most. God. It was like, man, this is exactly what he would want. So
that's so sweet.
Sad.
I love that kind of stuff. Like for me, like the funeral, like the classic funeral type stuff is just, it's not what anybody really wants. And so those more like celebration of life type things and like doing it how like the person would have loved to be there, and like just they feel celebrated and stuff like that. I'm sure that, the family feels good about that stuff. And, it's tough. It's tough sending somebody off like that, but I'm glad you guys got to celebrate his life and share some memories and stuff like that. Cause that's always the good part of that stuff, find the light in the dark parts of life,
Yeah, and like the memories. He was one of those guys that would always tell you stories from his like college time. I love it. Like we smuggled weed this place and this place. Like he'd always tell these crazy stories. Yeah. And like so when I went there, I was like, I have to tell like the family like the stories I remember about him because he would want that. And the one thing I think I may have told you this, he like always would kind of yell at me for not wearing a proper winter coat. And he would be like, kid, get a winter coat. You're one of those people that just wears a hoodie during like winter. He's like, don't do that. It's cold. So it was just kind of like, I don't know. He's always looking out for me, always fixing my car, you know, just straight up dad stuff. Like
true dad vibes.
Oh, this actually smells like some weed I remember that he like, do you ever smell certain weed where you're like, oh, that really takes me back?
Yes,
That's kind of how this one is.
I've definitely had that like kind of deja vu moment of like, oh my God, this kind of like I said, my dad was kind of like an undercover stoner until I got older.
Okay.
And like I didn't know what he smelled like, you know when you're like, you know, people you know have a smell and you just don't know, like I don't know. And then I like was smelling a certain kind of weed. I was like, oh my God. It was like a mix of like, I don't know, like weed and then like hard work. I don't know. Like, yeah, because my dad just like works his ass off, you know?
Yeah,
so I feel like I like, oh my God, that's what my dad smells like.
Yeah.
Like it just
did it click
like,
for you one day where you're like, it's weed
like,
in this?
Just brought it back. Yeah, it just brought it back. I was like, oh damn.
That's beautiful.
Yeah.
Actually,
I definitely knew that like my dad was a stoner before he actually like
announced it.
Told me he was, you know, before he revealed himself to me, you know what I'm saying?
I gotcha. Yeah. That's kind of funny. It's funny like hearing that a dad has to like come out to the kids when you know, you'd think it'd be the other way around where it's like you're the one having to like
yeah, it was definitely like a catch-22 when he did, because I was like, is this a trick? Like what are you do? Like, what are you saying? What do you mean? Like, I'm like, I don't know. Is this trustworthy?
So how did it go down? Was he like, hey, so I might smoke every now and then? Was it kind of like a secret? Was it like that?
It was definitely, okay. So, my sister had wanted to go to Lollapalooza. So I'd already lived in Chicago at the time and she really wanted to go to Lollapalooza. And my dad was like, fine. You can go if like your sister will go with you. And they ended up like staying in my apartment or whatever. And so it's like the night before Lollapalooza and my sister's asleep on the couch and my dad just like palms me a jar. He's like, here. And I'm like, what? Here? What? Like what? It was like a jar, like a full ass jar of bud. And I was like, what is this for? I was like, what is it? What is this for? Why? Are you sure? And he was like, just don't tell your sister, just take it. I know, I've seen your stuff.
It was for you, like a gift?
Yes, like a gift of like a whole, it was like, it had to be like over a quarter. Like, I was like, damn. I was like, fuck, free weed. And I was in college, so I was like, free weed, this is everything. This is everything I've been looking for the last couple of years is free weed. I was like, oh my God. Right? And he was just like, I know, like, you got to be careful where you're getting this from. And then he just gave it to me. And I was like, oh my God. And I was like, this is the best day ever. And I like ran into my bedroom and like took a picture of it. And I was like sent it to my friends and I was like, look, my dad smokes weed. He finally told me he smokes weed. But like I said, I totally knew like way before that.
I'm like excited for you, even though that was in the past. I can feel how exciting that would be.
It was definitely like a moment of like, is this like, are you trying to like catch me? Or are you like, what's the deal? You know? And it was just a wholesome, here's a big old jar of weed to my daughter.
That is wholesome. That's yeah, like, here you go, kid. Like, did he want to smoke any with you? Or was it like, here, just have a gift and we'll talk about this later?
So that's the thing. We like don't smoke together. Like we'll go to the dispensary together. We'll like, I'll like do his dispensary orders for him. Cause like I said, he like works so much. So he'll like call me and be like, I want this, this, and this. Can you just send the order? So I'm like, oh my God. So I'm like, I do his dispensary orders. Like we talk about it and stuff, but we never smoke together. It's really, I think it's just like, we haven't had the occasion.
I was going to say,
you know,
and
I think
it's pretty common. Like my friends that do have dads that smoke, I don't think they really smoke with them necessarily, which is so weird. I mean, it's not weird. I get it, but maybe the occasion will come up.
There's definitely a line that gets crossed when you're like smoking, like, you know what I mean? Like it's different than just like, we know that you do it. And, like, we both do it kind of thing.
Totally. And I've not crossed that line personally, like with my parents. Like I said, my dad's brought me to that dispensary and like my husband and I have smoked outside of an Airbnb when my dad was inside, but that's like the closest I've ever felt like comfortable. And I was thinking about it, I was like, I wonder why I have this weird like hesitation about like smoking or just openly sharing that with, you know, people. And I guess it's like I'm worried I would say something kind of weird to him, I guess. Like what if I get like weird,
stupid? There's definitely been moments where we've been like stoned at the same time and like, but we just don't acknowledge it. Like we're just like, okay, like you're over there, I'm over here, we're doing our own things, like, but we're both on the same level, so it's good.
Yeah, that actually makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
I want to smoke with every one of my friends' dads, so I feel like that would be a fun thing. Like, actually, when I worked at the dispensary, there was a lot of people's grandparents that I knew. Like, my friends' grandparents would come in there, and they'd be like,
God,
"Don't tell anyone that I do this." I'm like, I literally am bound by secrecy. I will not tell a soul, not even your grandkids. Don't worry, this is between us.
That is so cute. That is so cute. I love that so much.
This isn't the worst. This isn't the worst. I will say it's very smokable as a joint, but
yeah. Like I said, that shake really works for like roll yourself a quick little joint, roll, pre-roll a bunch of stuff. That's what I used it for. It was like super easy to just use for that stuff. You don't have to do anything in between. You just roll it and go.
Exactly. What are you smoking on today?
So I'm actually smoking some, I think it's cake breath. I don't know. I accidentally ripped the sticker off, but it's
awesome. Cake breath.
It's. Do you have this down in?
Arise.
Arise. Yes, I love. This is probably one of my favorite.
Oh, and their packaging is pretty legit.
Yeah. I just hate like every time I open it though, it's like one of the pinch tops. I like shoot the top into the sky, like it goes rocketing across the room, and I'm like, damn, I gotta get up and get
it
this
launches
top
it.
Yes, it like launches it across the room. I'm like, geez, I don't even know.
That's the aeroponic people, right? Like that one.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. I know a lot of people are super into aeroponic cannabis, which I guess, I mean, a lot of it is commercial. Anything commercial is going to be pretty fancily grown. Like, they're not going to just throw it in and hope for the best. They're going to like monitor the hell out of it.
Yeah. Right. Cause they have like big time money into it.
Right.
It's a little bit different.
Yeah. I was going to tell you another story about my friend's dad. His name was Ernie, which that name, I was just like,
such a dad name.
Like, what a dad name. Actually, let me show you. I have a picture of him pulled up.
Yes.
But one thing I remember, I can't remember what task I did for him. I did something where I was like, I helped him, or I might have dog sat maybe for them. But whatever it was, he wanted to like pay me back or tell my friend to try to pay me back. It was like one of those like, hey, you need to make sure your friend knows that we appreciate her or something like that. And so anyway, he gave me like a sack of weed, like that. I don't know where he'd gotten it. It was a grocery sack of it.
Oh my God.
It was like so much. And I was just like,
so funny.
And it's also funny because like you said, I feel like dads as a class of smoker, they're into big quantities of cannabis, right? Like they don't mess around with little piddly.
Like I think this, I don't know if this is jar, but like if my dad gives me stuff, it's like this much, like filled to the top. And I'm like, where did you get that?
It's like hundreds of dollars. Like
I was like, oh my God.
So this is a jar I bought thinking like, I bought it at a craft store and like decorated the lid. It's if you're looking at the YouTube, I put like a little flower on the top of this jar. It. But like realistically, dude, that's like $300 worth of weed.
Yeah, in Illinois like, for sure.
It's like, guess who never fills this up? Me. Never that full. But I'll show you a picture of it.
It's so different. In Michigan too, how it works, like your caregiver can grow plants for you. And so basically they grow all your bud for you. So it's a little bit different than it is here.
That's
oh my God,
beautiful.
such a dad.
He's such a someone messaged me. They're like, it's a dad wrapping a present. My dad doesn't wrap presents. And I was like, he was sweet. He always like, and that's my best friend and her dog. And like,
so sweet.
He's just such a sweetheart. Yeah.
I love it. I love
this that. Him.
Yeah. Take a moment to honor him a little bit with a little bowl, a little joint, smoke up for him.
Sesh.
So that's great.
What a guy.
This is such a sweet picture.
Yeah. He's a good man. So
that's good. Yeah. I love that. So like, okay. So like we were saying, dad's large quantities of bud, like mysteriously large quantities of bud. Do you think like dad weed is good weed or bad weed? Because I've had both. I've had some like really fire, like I was like, I remember, cause like I said, I was telling Haley earlier that I might out myself if my dad listens to this, but in high school, I used to definitely pinch off his stash a little bit. Like I figured out where this dude kept it in a lunchbox in the laundry room, top shelf. In a lunchbox in the laundry room, top shelf. Sorry, Dad. I knew exactly where it was. And like we said, large quantities. Never, he probably knew. Never would have, if you look at your stash every day, if a little goes missing, you probably still wouldn't notice. You'd be like, oh, did I smoke that? I guess I smoked that, you know? And
Totally.
so I would like, you know, pinch a nug here or there.
This is just enough. He won't notice.
He won't notice. But there was so much. So I'm like, he'll never notice. And even if he did, he would never say anything. So I was just like, you know, like and like would just sneak a little nug off the top. And
beautiful.
Like back in the day, that would be bud that we would be like, oh my God. Like I'd be like, guys, we got dad weed. We got dad weed.
Like they'd be like, good stuff. Like real, they're excited.
Like it was like the good stuff.
Totally.
And it's just like, whew, like we got the dad weed. Like it's gonna be good.
That's
like,
how I feel about it. That's how actually I feel like that it has a negative term. Like I don't know. Like people say like dad weed means like I don't know. It's like swag, exactly. And like that's not the case. Actually, whenever like my friend like had stuff from him, I'm like, it was great and we were excited to have it. And yeah, usually I will say dad weed implies that they grew it themselves or knew someone that grew it themselves. Not often is it like a big dispensary haul, you know?
Yes, never.
Not usually the case.
Yeah, like I was saying in Michigan, like your caregiver grows for you. So usually you just pay your caregiver you know, for whatever bud you get from them. And it's cheap because
it's directly to the person.
Shut
up. What am I doing living here? This is what I'm doing.
Right? Like you get a caregiver, they can grow, I can't remember exactly how many plants, but it's like X amount of plants per patient that they're responsible for.
Okay.
So if you have like, I think it's something like 12 or 16 plants per patient. Damn. So like,
oh my gosh, that's an incredible
caregiving. Yeah. And like just grow. And like, I think he said it was like a family friend who had just been like grows in his basement or grows in his garage or whatever. And like has his own little, you know, almost like a hobby grow, but you get a little cash out of it. And you can, you know, make some people feel great, you know?
What a beautiful setup. I actually didn't quite fully realize that, dude. Like that's not how Illinois is set up at all. Like right now, technically the only legal way to like purchase it is like at the dispensary. You can have some on you that's like a decriminalized amount. Like if you have one joint on you and get pulled over, no longer is that like a huge freaking deal like it used to be, but it still isn't like fun because there's no other sources. Like you can't like you said, you can't have like a friend grow for you. Actually, it's even illegal to buy like medical cannabis and give to another patient here. Right. It's like, well, that's lame. Like if I want to mail you something or like, or just physically give it to you, that's still illegal. It's like, get out of town.
And we talked about like, I think we talked about how I tried to grow a little bit and it was definitely a disastrous experience because as a patient you can have, I think it's 5 plants here now. And I'm like, that's all great and dandy, but I live in a 1-bedroom apartment. So A, where am I going to put 5 plants? And B, like I killed these things you know, like, I don't even know how I did it. They could have, you know, blossomed and I crushed them. You know what I mean? So like, if I could have just, you know, there's friends I have on Instagram and stuff who grow 10 times 3. They grow stuff that I'm like, you grew that in a closet in your house. Phenomenal. Like what? It's and I'm like, if I could just give you my 5 plants to grow for me and then I pay you cash for that, like, you know, that would be ideal, you know?
That's win-win for sure. And like during COVID, what a great freaking way to help people like make money. Like there's so many people that are just chilling at home with no like income. Cause like if you're not someone that's super tech savvy, working from home freaking is hard. Like, you know, like you can't just be like decently proficient at technology. You have to be very good, at least in my kind of work. I don't know about like what you think, but it seems like you can't just hop on and get a remote job. So for some people having like something to do with their hands, like I'm physically growing this for you with care and something special about knowing who is going to smoke it. Like, you know, like they're putting love into it for you. Specifically. And that's beautiful.
And they like all the people who I know who get stuff from caregivers, they like the caregivers always hook it up. Like,
like
super
fat.
super fat, super fat. And I'm just like, I can't wait to move to Michigan and like find a caregiver that I can
I be your caregiver? I'm gonna move
like
just kidding.
Haley, move to Michigan with me and then you can be my caregiver and then we can it's like a large amount of plants that you can have per patient. It's pretty neat.
Heck yeah. When I say I could be your person, I actually couldn't. I'm saying this on behalf of my husband. That
your husband can be the caregiver.
I am the facilitator. I don't really grow this, but that sounds awesome. there's this one strain I was gonna tell you that I feel like is a dad strain.
Yes.
Like OG Kush, or like that's kind of what comes to mind when I think of
The classics, the super.
yes.
That's what I was thinking. Like something super diesely, something
Yeah.
like sour diesel, the OG type.
Yes. Oh, sour diesel.
Original.
I forgot about that being a good dad strain.
Yes, like I feel
Yeah.
like that's a super dad strain. I love to recommend stuff to my dad. Because some of it just like blows his mind. He's like, "Oh, that was really good," and
Oh,
I'm
he
like,
tells you?
"Yeah." Like
Aw.
I like because I like to, like I said, I like to like browse the menus, or if he needs me to order his stuff for him, I'm
Yeah.
like, "This is what I recommend," and it's
As
fun to
your
be like his like own little budrista. Like,
That's actually
you know what
beautiful.
I
Bud Rista. I've never heard that. That's beautiful.
mean?
I
It's just
love
me on
that.
my iPad in my
It's
pajamas,
like
like,
doo doo
"Ooh,
doo.
this is the kind of steezy you're going to get today." This is the because he's really into the steezy vapes. I'm like, "Are you
Oh,
like a
Steezy?
California bro?
Yeah,
Like,
that is
you
such
are
a
a 60-year-old
California
year old
bro.
man." It's so fun. He loves steezy. Like, if
That's beautiful.
ever is steezy is listening to this, hook my dad up, because
Please hook her down.
he is like your number one fan in Michigan. It is insane. It is so funny. He'll be like, "Oh yeah, that one good. That one not my favorite. That one okay, yeah, I like that one. Give me 3 of those and 1 of those." And it's so like he has his order down like super
I
pat.
love.
Like he's really into those what are they? The transdermal, like
Oh, sure.
Mary's medicinal patches.
Yes, yeah.
He
That's just
orders them in like by the 20s. I'm like, "You love, like, you swear by these things." And I'm like,
that's
this is, you know
awesome.
what I mean?
If it
Like,
works,
I'm
it
so
works,
glad.
Like some
Yes,
people those
yeah.
really work on their like is it a THC patch or like CBD
Um,
patch?
Girl, he gets all of them. He's
Like
like 10 of
CBN,
the
all
one
of
to
it.
one, 10 of the THC, like he's like 10 of the indicas, 10 of the sativas, 10
Oh
of the
man,
CBD. I'm like, oh, he gave
I
me one
love
of them.
him.
The
Oh
last time I saw him, I got a CBD one. So
yeah.
I'll have to try that one. And then I think he gave me oh, here's a 1-to-1. I'm like,
There
you
you
are
go.
too much.
Your
It is so
dad.
funny.
I
He
love
is,
that. I would love him at the dispensary. I love people that are like, I know what I want. I actually, a lot
yes.
of my favorite clients there were just people that felt like a dad to me, where I'm like, I know,
Yeah.
like, I don't know you. They're not creepy or anything like that. They're just like
Yeah.
straight vibing. Like, I'm here and I'm here to get
Yeah.
something good.
I love it. Yeah. I love to like you said, I feel like they like have things their go-to. So when you get them like out of the box to try something and
Exactly.
it blows their mind, they're like, "Oh, what
They were
is
impressed
this?"
and they're
Like,
like, thank you and appreciative. Like they're
yeah,
a really great
yeah.
customer to have. Like, yeah,
And I
there's
feel
this,
like they tip,
yes, they tip.
like,
Yes.
always tip good, tip heavy, you know?
That's kind of I know you've said that in your Instagram stories, like
Yeah.
folks, tip your bud tender, especially during the
Yes.
pandemic. Like, but honestly, that's like a random, like new phenomenon for people. They don't realize like that bud tending is kind of like being a server and you necessarily
Yeah.
don't get paid well, necessarily. And a little bit goes a long way. Like if you
Mm-hmm.
spend a lot of time like helping someone pick out a strain and listen to their health problems, it's just nice to throw them like $5, a little
Yeah.
bit.
Yeah.
And just that.
Yeah, I like to, I order online and stuff, and I usually have like big orders if I do go to the dispensary, and that takes a lot of time to pull,
That's so
like
thoughtful of
yeah,
you.
it takes a
Yeah, it's
minute to
true.
like, this person got all this, they have to go through it. It's like 3 times in Illinois or something,
Yeah.
right? Like you have
Yeah.
to check it, triple check it like 3 times. I've watched them, when we would go into the dispensaries, like, okay, I'm putting this into the bag now, and
Yes.
now I am checking it off the receipt. Okay, here is your eighth. Like it is
It's
very regimented. Like they have
yes.
to go through a very serious process. So like, just give them a little cash.
Yeah. And or if you don't have extra cash, just being straight up nice goes a long way. I hope it always like
Yeah.
appreciate that. Just anyone that wasn't a pain in my ass and were nice type, like that's all I really want. Who I really did not enjoy is like people that want to know obsessively the THC percentage of everything in the
Yes.
store before they purchase. And it's like, hey, I don't mean to be the guy that breaks this to you, but the THC stuff doesn't matter as much as you think. Like there's this
Yeah.
couple guys that would come in and they would just bust my butt over. They're like, I need a sativa that is 31%. And I remember
Oh, okay.
explaining to them, I was like, okay, have you ever grown a sativa? They by nature do not produce as much THC as like an indica. It just doesn't happen. So get used to smoking something that's in the 20% and you're gonna be fine. Trust me.
Yeah. It's just like people don't know that that's not what it's all about all the time.
Exactly.
Like You don't have to go through to the oh, it's 34%. That's it. That's the winner. That's mine. Like
like your dad voice. That was good.
There's so many more factors.
Yeah,
to
the
it,
terpenes,
you know what I mean?
man. Them terpenes.
Yeah.
Had to tell a million people about that. Be like, yo, it's not the THC. It's more about like how your body's responding to the different like flavors and all of that. There's one strain though. I don't know if you've had it. It's called Grandpa Bub, and it's by PharmaCann or like that. PharmaCann like or Matter. Yeah. But that strain, holy cow. At our town, like we had so many dads that wanted that strain. It was a male only strain.
It was going around the town, like everybody get the Grandpa Bud.
Literally on the Facebook group, I would see it and they'd be like, someone would be like, guess who has Grandpa Bud? And then I would know my day would be busy because all those people would come in to grab it.
I love that. Yeah. That is, I'm gonna have to look at, because like I do like some of Matter stuff when I see it. One of my favorites is the Mr. Clean. So I understand that like culty vibe of like, go get the oh my God, that's so cute. That is so funny.
And the name, I mean, I'm sure the name drew people in, but also they would always say like, mostly it was farmers that I would deal with, like older men farmers. They're like, that Grandpa Bub helps my back. And they would always say it on their back. And it's just like, I feel like that's another thing. Dad strains, like they have different needs than a mom strain, like
yes, for sure.
It's like construction people or farmers that need like some pain relief. They're not necessarily anxious, like feel good.
yeah. I mean, like my dad is a patient, so like that's what he's definitely there for, is that medicinal relief, and the fact that those patches and like shit like that helps him. I'm like, hell yeah, dude. Like, good for you. You work your ass off. That dude works like 80 to 90 hours a week sometimes. All that stuff. I'm like, you're old now. Like, you need to chill out.
You need to treat yourself.
Yes, treat yourself. So like, that's why I like finding the good stuff on the menus and stuff. And I'll be like, okay, you're going to get this and you're going to get this. And like, I showed him some stuff. Yeah. And he's like, oh, I like that one. And I'm like, okay, good. Now I know like, what realm you like to be in. So it's fun.
I love that. Your dad, please tell your dad to make like a YouTube channel of just his quick thoughts on like everything. Cause like, that's what I wish more is the cannabis industry. Like when I Google like, videos, things like that, it's usually really polished, or it's like a half naked person that's like, I don't actually really even smoke. I'm just like here to review this product.
Or this like bro, like a total bro. Like I got super lucky and won a Puffco Peak Pro on Instagram.
It was a pro too. Like,
yes, it's a pro.
I didn't realize that.
Yes. I was like, damn, I like scored. Like I felt so, and I entered it on my birthday. I entered the Instagram giveaway on my birthday. So it was that birthday magic, I think, that really just set it off. And so I was telling Haley earlier, I had an original Puffco Peak and I didn't really like it. It didn't really like simulate like that. Like it was just not like the same dabbing experience, as like using a rig, or like it just wasn't anything, that I found other methods that I liked more. I never touched it since the beginning of quarantine. And so that was like a year of not using it. And so I sold it to my friend. And then I saw that I won this one. So I was like, oh, let me see like what are all the changes, because I saw a lot of people were like hyping it up, saying like, oh, much more like closer to like a dab rig and torch experience, much better experience, whatever. All the videos I could find was like very young, very white men.
I watched them all. I bet. I feel like I've watched them all.
I was like, this guy's voice is annoying me. This guy's everything. Like I just kept making fun of him while I was watching it. I'm like, I can't, like, I need to stop, like bring it together. But
I feel that same freaking way about the Puffco videos. Actually, there's one guy that it's a really cute video, and I don't mean to make fun of him at all because it's cute, but he's like dressed up and he's like, well, today I got to give a big presentation and I've got my Puffco Peak here. And he's like talking about it, but he never touches on like the actual like qualities of the Puffco or what it does or anything like that. It's like not helpful.
Oh my God.
So you need to do one. Like once you get it in your hands, I want your thoughts and like honest opinion on it, because I think it is really, they've stepped it up quite a bit.
Yeah, that's what I've heard. A lot of people who are like, I would have never touched this before, like are like, I love it. I'd use it every day. So I'm excited. I thought about it. I was like, should I do a giveaway with it on my page, or should I like
keep it,
sell it? Because I'm like trying to buy a house. I'm like, should I sell it? And I'm like, no, I'm gonna keep it because I want it.
Yeah, and it's birthday magic.
It's so fun.
It's kind of
yes.
like, yeah. I was saying
the
this,
birthday magic.
Like anytime something happy happens where I win something, or I like, I don't know, just anything at all like that, I'm like, I'm back. Like, this is a good streak.
Yes.
I'm going to take this as an amazing stroke of luck and really enjoy that this happened. Like,
yes. Yeah. I think a lot of people are kind of in that mode right now. Like, things are kind of like starting to look up.
Yeah.
Like, we're on the horizon of things getting better. You know what I'm saying? So like, I felt like a definite slump in January, February, but like March is here. It's kicking. Back. Spring is hitting. Like, snow is melting. Things are happening, and I'm excited about it. I'm like,
that's how I feel.
We can see people outside again.
Yeah, exactly.
That'll be nice.
It's all feeling a tiny bit better, which oddly enough, like, kind of gives me a teeny bit of anxiety where I'm like, is it getting better, or am I just like, you know, like I get worried that it's gonna actually just be another year of crazy bullshit like last year.
Oh God, who knows? But like things are happening, so I'm like,
there's vaccines now.
Shit's, get the sunshine. Yes, shit's rolling. Shit's going. And in the springtime really makes a difference. Yeah.
Do you have anything you're like super pumped about in spring? Like, I mean, 420 is somewhat close on the horizon, you know, like.
Oh yes, that is true. Did you do anything for 420 last year?
Oh no.
I had a whole
dinner planned.
I think it was like a Monday too.
Yeah. I was like, there's nothing. So I barely did anything different.
Yeah, I don't think I did much because I'd like just started my new job. So like I was trying to be like, hello, I'm here for my job. Yeah. But I mean, it was all online and everything, but so I think I just like ate an edible or something after work.
Do you have any, like, actually there's a few like 420 traditions I used to do. Like I used to always watch Half Baked, or like, actually I feel like we've watched Half Baked with my friend's dad. Like that would be something where I always appreciate that about dads, is when they want to join in on the 420 fun. Like I do remember him sitting down and like watching Half Baked and laughing.
That's
and he's
so
like, what
cute.
is this? And it's like, it's funny because they don't know stoner culture. They just know I've smoked weed. They don't know like the whole bit to
but
it.
It's a whole
movies
thing.
And exactly.
Yes.
Yeah.
And Instagram now and everything. Yeah.
It's kind of hard even to get through their heads that it's safe. Like you said, like a lot of people are like still super mega secretive. And to be fair, I mean, like it is really new and people are still in jail, which is just absolutely horrifying to me that like I can sit here just openly smoking this and then people are still suffering from like doing the same shit, you know? Like, it makes me sad. But,
I think that's what has hindered a lot of the older folks from like being openly about it. Yeah.
It'll come around. We'll all get like, I'm hoping there'll be some point where we're all like, oh, now we can really come out of the closet. And really, you know what I think that'll be is when, sorry, my cat's here. When federal legalization happens, or when there's no drug testing at jobs, because that just screws the whole freaking thing up. Like,
yes. I hate that too. It doesn't make sense to me. Like, I mean, obviously for some jobs it like,
of course,
makes sense. I feel like whatever. You're like driving a big ass truck, or like if you're doing surgery on a person, you know, like I don't know. There's some things that it's like, okay, I get it. But like if I'm like sitting on my butt, like answering a phone, or if I'm like stocking stuff at a grocery store, like my friend worked at Office Max in high school, and she's like, guys, I gotta stop smoking because I'm gonna get drug tested. And I'm like,
your shitty job.
What? Your fucking shitty job at Office Max, like. And I'm on a couple like Facebook groups and people are always asking like, how can I pass this drug test? How can I pass this drug test? And I'm like, damn, like I just like, I hate that that's a thing. Like it's especially in states where it's totally legal. Like why are we asking this? And my friend had to take one too, and they called her and they were like, you tested positive for THC. And she was like, yes, I know, like I'm a medical patient. And he was like, well, what do you have? Like the guy at the testing, the guy who tested her asked her why she had a medical card, and I'm like,
your damn business.
ask that. And it's just like, that is just too much business for my job to have about my life. Like, do I do the job? Yes or no? Click
exactly.
here.
Am I doing decently or no?
Yeah.
Like, yeah, exactly. And also worth mentioning, it's like, well, guess what? Even if I went home and like drank a bunch, that's also not your business.
Yeah.
But even that, like, I mean, there's implications for the next day. Like if you go home and get absolutely hammered, then you might be bad at your job the next day, but not the case with smoking weed. In fact, like you'll probably do a better job because you're a little bit relaxed from the night before, you know?
Yeah, right.
Yeah. I've actually, this is something I've never ever admitted before, but I've bought like pee off of a person before for a drug test.
You have?
Yes. I'm that person where I was like, I don't know anyone that doesn't smoke weed, like not a soul. I can't think of a single friend of mine that would pass. So I found someone, I was like, hey, I am legit in a pinch. I have to work this tech support job. It was a job I had right out of college.
Yeah. And you're like, I need this job. I need it. Yeah.
And so I like told him, and it's so funny when you look back, like I literally gave myself such bad anxiety for like 3 weeks trying to pass this drug test for a job that was like $10 an hour. You know, it's like, why?
Yeah.
Yeah. I feel like that's such garbage. Thing. Dads don't have like time for that shit. It's like, I'm either gonna smoke weed or I don't have time to like finagle all this like hassle that people make it into, like drug testing and like, yeah. And also worth mentioning, you could do like meth and then pass your test like pretty soon after. Like,
oh, for real? I did not know that.
Like those super hard drugs get out of your system way faster. So the ones that you would want to watch for, like Coke, for example, and stuff like that, like those get out of your system way quicker than weed, which is 30 whole days.
Yeah.
You know,
it's like, yeah. So. Or like I've seen some people be like, I'm getting a hair test where they pull a piece of your hair or whatever out of your head to see if you smoke weed, like,
or have smoked weed in like years, because like your hair's long, there's a lot of years in your hair. It's crazy.
I'm like, this will be like, she has never stopped. Like,
you have cannabis, like a genome of cannabis in your like hair structure. They're like, actually
root to tip. They're like, does she not ever smoke? Like,
there's like, it'd be funny if it was like a tree where you can like see like, you know, years of like hydration, dehydration, where they're like, oh geez, she really smoked a lot of blunts this year.
That would be
I
think hilarious. About that too, like, because do you feel like you go through phases of like what you smoke? Like I'm in my bong phase right now. Like I'm very heavy on the bongs, but like ask me this time last year and I was smoking all joints, like just only smoking joints. Totally. So it's like
phases like that. Yeah.
It's funny. I wonder what it would say. Like 10 years ago, she was smoking out of a one hitter that she bought at the flea market. Like
this little baby hits every
this
now
baby
and then,
hits like, from this. She bought a dime sack the first time she bought weed, and you know what I mean. And now, it's so funny.
I do sometimes wish that you could, like, you know, have like a Facebook memory of like today, 10 years ago today, smoked her first joint with this dad of her friends. You know, like you can't make notifications like that. It'd be kind of kind of risky there.
Yeah, I think about like the things I used to smoke out of, and I'm like, oh my god, I never would like you would never clean your bowls or like anything.
Sure, like just no idea. You know,
or like you wouldn't have access to stuff to clean it. Like you were hiding it, you know?
Yeah.
Like it was hidden in the bottom of a drawer. Like you can't go in the bathroom and clean that thing. You know?
I've always smoked when I was like an adult out of the house. So I never had to hide it from like parents, but I've always had to hide it from landlords. Like, oh my God, the landlord is coming over, hide every piece of like, which is really hard when you're like a stoner to hide every piece of like memorabilia and paraphernalia. It's like, oh my God, there's a lot I have to quickly hide here. Like,
I like try to hide stuff when because my maintenance men know what I'm doing. We've had multiple complaints, I'm not even gonna lie, like serious complaint. They were like, pay $500 or you need to leave, and I'm like, I'm not paying $500 and I'm not leaving because you can't prove that it was me.
There you go.
So once you can prove it was me, capture the smell in a bottle and bring it back, and then I'll pay the $500. But you know what I'm saying? Like, what was
Yeah.
I forgot what we were even talking. What was it?
Just like
hiding it.
landlords hiding, making
Hiding
you
it,
feel
yeah.
sketchy. Like the thing is, it makes you feel sketchy when you should have no reason to feel sketchy. You're like,
Right.
I should not even have to scramble to hide this. This is no big deal. Like,
Yeah.
I don't scramble to hide my prescription Xanax I had back then, or
Right,
whatever. Like,
right.
it's the exact same thing. So yeah, it's kind of silly.
Need to repack this bowl. Yeah,
My joint keeps going out because it's like it's one of those like types of weed where it just is like not ideal for like maybe
it doesn't
I need
want to
one of
stay
those.
lit.
I need one of those Bovita or however you say it, the hydration.
Oh yeah, the little
packs.
hydration packs you're talking about.
Yeah, I think that would help this. It's just a little crispy for my or something. Something's not quite right.
I love that. I actually smoked a couple of joints this past weekend when we were down in Champaign.
Oh yeah, nice. Was it good stuff?
It was some stuff I picked up at the dispensary. I think it was like a sour diesel, something like our East Coast sour diesel or something.
Oh, I love that.
But
good one.
My favorite place I feel like to smoke joints is in the car.
Yeah,
like there's just like
me too.
Yeah, like there's just like a
window
certain,
down, like
yeah. There's just like a certain feeling about it.
Oh,
and
yeah.
My boyfriend got a haircut when we were down there, and
it's actually exciting. I get excited for a big quarantine haircut.
Yes. Yeah, he had his hair was super super long. He's like, okay, I can't stand it. It's got to go. So he like got his haircut from this dude he used to get his haircut from in college. So like he went back to the same dude. It was fun. But I sat in the car and smoked a joint with all the windows down.
Yeah, you did.
It was amazing. And then I sat there and I was like, damn, this haircut's taking forever. I was like, do I smoke another joint?
yes, you do.
I was like oh my God. It was so funny. I like took a video because there was I was like, look at these views, and it was like a huge smokestack of like a factory, and it was just like because like all that like down basically like south of here, but and because you live in Southern Illinois, it's just like trains and like big buildings and factories and industrial trucks and you know
big
all
agricultural
this kind of
stuff like big barns and like weird things. Like what is that? Like
big barns, factories, tons of those windmill things, like the huge windmill farms. So I was just like, fun. Wow, look at this, can't beat this. I was laughing so hard.
Yeah, it's pretty funny. I bet though it did feel probably nice just to get out of the house. Anytime you can do that, that feels extra good and like just get a change of scenery.
And it was like 60 degrees or something this weekend, so just like being outside and smoking is such a different experience than being inside and smoking. So
you can explore too. Like actually I'd love some time for you to like come to our shitty town that we live in, but we have like trails that we go on pretty often and like not many people walk on them. So it's kind of like our private like smoke joints trail, but that's fun because it's like we often will pack one in our backpack, and it's like once we get to the destination, like where the river is at, then you sit down and like have like a moment, and it's like, oh, we worked so hard, we worked for this joint, and then we walk back, and it's like it's fun time.
I love that. Like
listening to a podcast and hiking is the best combo because you're like, you're not bored, you're doing something, and you're smoking. Like, that's what I like to do.
I can't wait for the weather to be like, I was saying someone was posting about like springtime in Michigan, and I was like, it's such a feeling,
Is it like I always feel this way at the end of February where I'm like, oh, things are looking up, it's gonna get warm from here on out, things are good, and then it's like, oh yeah, PS it's actually like May, like the end of May when things actually get warm. It's like just hold on, it's gonna be a minute. Like one year it like even snowed on Mother's Day, I think it was like 2 years ago. It's like that's not what I want. I want it to get warmer right now. Like
it's such a when I graduated college, I graduated like in the middle of May, and it was freezing, like so fucking cold. I had to wear like a winter coat, and like I had bought a really cute spring dress to wear like for my graduation. I had to wear like tights and boots and everything. I was like, it is freezing. Like I hate it. Yeah, it's too much.
Yeah, it's not what you want. I don't know. I wish it was like Hawaii sometimes, where I'm like, why am I living in this place that's just so incredibly cold? Like,
so damn cold. Yeah.
I did tell my friends at the visitation yesterday, I was like, I literally think of your dad every time I put on a coat because I have a coat because of him. It's like now I'm wearing a real coat. So thank you. A real coat. It makes life a little bit better. Like
I feel like dads are all about dressing in layers.
Oh yeah.
They're like, oh, you got to wear this
Prepare,
layer and wear your long johns. And you're like, I'm a woman. Long johns. Like, I wear leggings mostly. Is that a long
that
john?
count? It kind of actually does serve a girl purpose of like having that is like.
Yeah. I'm like, no, Dad, I don't have long johns to wear under my leggings, which are basically long johns, because I'm not going to wear 2 pairs of pants. Like, exactly. He would like tell me in high school, like, where's your long underwear? And I'm like, what are you talking about?
What does
like,
that even actually mean? Does anyone own that? Is that like something you buy, like where it's like a onesie kind of like?
It's basically just like thermal, like leggings and a thermal t-shirt or like a long. Oh, can you still hear me?
Oh yeah.
Oh, weird. My thing just did for switch the audio, but it's just basically like thermal undershirt and a thermal, like they're like leggings, they're like pajamas you wear under your clothes.
Are they white? Like a white like hunting? I imagine this guy any color. Okay.
Pretty much, yeah. Like think of neutrals, like the classic, the blues, the greens, the whites, like the black, the gray, like browns, you know.
I feel like those are the
long john.
In like beige. I imagine like a beige onesie. Okay. That's like
pretty much.
Is your dad a hunter kind of guy at all? Like mine's not, but
my dad's not. My grandpa is. My grandpa and my like mom's family are big hunters. So like, you know, that's why I said like your sweatshirt and stuff reminds me of that like hunting like vibe, you know, like totally. My grandpa, there's like the story of him that was written in like Outdoor Life because he got lost in the Canadian like wilderness for 12 days and his friend died. Yes, they were like lost in the wilderness for like 12 days or some crazy, I think it was like 12 or 9 days.
Long time.
His friend died because like he died of like exposure and pneumonia, and they had to like fly him back. Like it was crazy, like crazy. I'm like, how my grandpa's a badass, like total badass.
Were you still alive? Like he's telling you the story. It was like not were you still alive? Were you born yet? Is what I meant.
But no, this was like when my mom was a kid. Okay. Like, so like a long time ago, like he would go like hunting for like caribou and stuff. I'm like, that's insane. Who does stuff like that? I feel like that's really cool. Only dads, grandpas. Grandpas.
Yeah. You know, I do have one wish for the dads out there, which is to branch out a little more into the concentrate space and try vapes. Cause I think that a lot of dads get stuck on like flower and joints. And it's like, if you only knew that there was like a crazy other world out there, you might really like vaping and stuff like that.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. I got my dad to use the G Pen Roam, and he was like doing like dabs in there. He was into it.
Like G Pen, is that his brand?
No, this one, I don't know. This is just like the regular, I don't have it out here, but it's cool. It's like basically a portable like e-rig type situation.
Oh, I've seen that. Beautiful.
Yes,
yeah. What do you think of it? Did you like it?
I think he thinks they're too complicated. Like I think
I've heard that.
About, like dads and dabs is that it's just like too much work. They just want to light up and go, you know. They don't want to have to deal with like
any fluff,
rig, putting anything in there. He was like, there's too many steps. There's too much. Too much. He's like, it's too much. I don't like it. And I was like, okay.
Yeah, that's fair. I've heard that so much. Like there was a few men that would always buy pre-rolled joints, like bunches of them, like, you know, $800 worth of joints.
Yeah.
And I remember being like, yo, you know, I could help you reduce your monthly costs. Like if you're going to buy this every month, you could just like buy yourself a little roller and buy the bud or shake and just roll yourself a bunch of these and you could have a lot more per month. And they're like, yeah.
And it's just like, yeah, because they're all working. All these dads are working too hard.
And the time that they get to themselves, they're going to pop away really fast and smoke that joint, you know, so they don't have to like, be messing with this elaborate thing.
Right. We don't have time for all that.
I have the most squirrely cat on my lap. If anyone's watching, I know she's like hopping around. She's just like wants to be here, but she loves like sitting on my lap, even if I'm smoking, because it's like going a separate direction.
Yeah,
she's just so squirrely that you can like.
That's so funny. But I know some people's pets will like run away when they smoke, but some people's pets will be like, "What's going on? I want to smell it." And sometimes, like if the you know, wind wafts towards the rats, I can see them all like pop up and be like, like trying to
It's a
sniff at. I'm
happy
like,
thing.
huh,
Yeah,
interesting.
that's fun. You know what? For one of our episodes, I want to like meet your pets officially because I think it's like super beautiful and fun that you have like, is it 2 rats or 3 rats?
Four.
Yes, you're like,
There's 4
no,
rats.
4.
4. There's 4. Too many. They're crazy. They're super cute though.
You and I are like fun opposites because we have 4 cats. So
oh my god, you have 4 cats and a dog. That's so funny.
Yeah,
I love that. I can't wait to have some dogs in my life.
Yeah, that'll be nice.
I'm super pumped.
It's a dad thing. Like when I think of what a dad would do is just smoke weed, bring their dog, give them a nice old hug and sit there and smoke.
Yeah,
that's like a good
hang
life
out.
to build. Yeah.
Watch the news.
Oh man, I have to tell you, I have a friend of mine that like always laughs at me because she's like, "What are you watching tonight?" And every time she asks me that, I'm watching like River Monsters, or I watch like I'm watching like a fishing show or like a John F. Kennedy documentary. Like last week, she's like, "What are you up to?" And I was like, "Oh, I'm watching this Nixon documentary. It's like 4 hours long." And she's like, "Wow, Dad, thanks." Like that.
Wow. That is definitely like History Channel.
Yeah.
Like
Ice Road Truckers, stuff like that.
Ice Road Trucker. I love a Deadliest Catch. I'm there for a Deadliest Catch.
All right, I'm for that. I'm for all of that stuff. Actually, you know why I like shows like that is because I like seeing people good at what they're doing. And like, it's kind of a high stress job that I cannot relate to in any way. Like, I don't know what it's like to be an ice road trucker. I don't know what it's like to have to like crab fish for your job.
Crab fish in the sea, like, and waves are coming. Like, holy shit.
It's boss vibe. So anytime I watch that, I'm just like, you know what? That is so far removed from my life and everything. It just gives me a certain amount of like energy and hope. It's great.
It definitely like, I think it was last Christmas. My mom got me sucked into watching Deadliest Catch. She's like, I just love them. She's like, they're so cute and I love them. And they're like, she'll just say like, they're working hard and like doing their job. Like there's just something so admirable about that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, just like watching like somebody like go to work and it's fun to watch. And then like you see the little crabs and stuff and
the whole thing.
It's like, and then you're like, is this boat gonna go down in the middle of there's so much drama to it all too.
I was just gonna say, like, even though the drama is probably made up, at least embellished, I don't care.
Yeah.
I do not care because I'm like for it. And a lot of the stuff, it's like, well, you can't physically fake catching crabs in the boat on the ocean. Like somebody is doing it. I don't know who's, but like that's badass. Whoever's doing it. Like I'm sure there's a little production behind this, but also this is cool.
Yeah, I think about the video people too. I'm like, dang, these guys who like probably went to film school, just like be like the dudes with the cameras are like, great, now I gotta go be on a fucking boat in the middle of like the ocean, the Bering Sea or wherever the hell it is. Like shit, I'd be like, is this what I'm signing up for? Or do you think those like camera guys have that like they're like, I want to go be on a boat? Like that's what I'm going. That's what I'm thinking.
It's the first one. I feel like it's the first one where it's like college kids that have to be actually good at the task of like filming and they get into film school and then it's like, well, I guess I'm on Deadliest Catch now.
I think I'm filming Deadliest Catch. Here we go. Like time to get on the boat, I guess.
Man, yeah.
That'd be so freaky.
Actually, now I really want to watch that tonight. Like that's just kind of what I need. Like that's a job that's probably unaffected by quarantine and like COVID is like, you can always be an ice road chucker and you can always be a crab fisher and all these things.
Listen, if you can't work from home, you can't work remote, you could always be an ice road trucker. There's always a job out there for you.
Let's put a link in our bio. Link in bio for ice road truck openings. Like hit them up.
Oh my God. I could not handle that. I wouldn't mind sleeping in like a truck though. I could deal with that, but I don't think I could do driving a big truck would scare the shit out of me, I think.
Yeah, I don't think I would like it. They work so hard too. Like those are such long days, I think, that people put in. So shout out to all you dads out there that put in way too much hard work for your family. Because otherwise, why would they do it? They work hard just to like help other people out. I don't think they would just do that. Like that's my dad has like 4 jobs too, where he's a bus driver. He referees like football games and stuff.
Yeah.
And he does all the liquor distributing. Like he loads all the shelves at Walmart for the beer.
Oh my gosh.
So it's like he starts his day at like 4 a.m. and then does that. Then he drives a bus. Then he like referees and then drives a bus again. And then, other stuff. So it's like, geez, that's a lot of working, but he likes it. So
I feel like, yeah, dads are always up for some hard work, and I am not. So that's why I'm not a dad.
You're right. I'm like, I'm a little more down for the chill part, like the after work part. Like,
yeah. The after. So when are we done with? I think my dad helped me move in a couple years ago, and he was like helping me build a desk. I fell asleep on top of the pieces the desk was built. I'm like, if that doesn't say anything about my life, and
Dad, please.
like, he's like, get up, and I was like, what? He's like, get up, you're on top of the piece. I'm like, oh, okay, sorry.
It was too much together for you.
I was like, beautiful. Oops, sorry.
I love
too
that.
Too much.
Beautiful. Well, I think I'm actually gonna listen to or watch Deadliest Catch tonight, and like,
yes,
I want to make some like bacon and like something delicious, like bacon pancakes, like we were talking about, cornbread.
Yes, breakfast
like
for dinner.
Yeah.
Ooh, like, what are they called when you make like cornbread pancakes? Are they like, aren't they like Johnny cakes or something?
Yeah.
Oof, I made those a couple weeks ago. They're so good.
Oh, that sounds good.
A lot of butter, a lot of real butter. Never use the fake butter.
Oh yeah. That's something else. No dads are about fake butter. I've never, man, one time my mom made a Boca burger, like those vegan meat hamburger type deals. And she like didn't tell me. She's like, we're not going to tell dad that we put this in. Just go along with it. We're all eating this. And I was like somewhat vegetarian at the time, so I thought it was fun. But he was like, what in the hell is this? And just like, and we did not trick him at all. He was not fooled.
That is so, what is this? Oh my God. That's so
we all
funny.
Just like died laughing. We just all looked at each other and were like, sorry, it's actually like we didn't have any hamburger. We made this vegan thing for you.
So funny. Oh my God. So should we light one last one up for the dads?
Yeah, for the dads. I actually have a little bit of a snub left of this joint. So I'm gonna light this.
I love it. Well, cheers.
Yeah. All right. To the dads. To anyone that has dad energy, whether you're female or male.
Big dad energy. Those big dad vibes. You feed your friends.
Yeah.
Don't let them smoke weed alone.
Yeah. Hang out with them. Check in on them. Check their tires. See how they're doing.
Check their, Is their check engine light on? Make sure it's not. Fix their windshield wipers.
Yep.
This one's for you. All
things. We're here for you. Come smoke with us.
Yes. Come smoke with us always. So one last one.
One last one. Oh, woo! I got the last bit. Officially out.
All right. Well, thank you guys so much for joining us. I had so much fun chatting with you, Haley.
Dude, I did too. I'm so glad everyone's been tuning in. I'm so excited. We're gonna do this every week. It's been so nice. Everyone's been so positive. I think a lot of people miss smoking like with somebody a lot. So it's been awesome.
Yes, it has been awesome. And just so you guys know, Midwest Sesh episodes are posted every Friday night. And if you could please subscribe to our Midwest Sesh YouTube channel, connect with us on Facebook and Instagram at Midwest Sesh Pod. That's Midwest Sesh POD. Yeah. And we'd super appreciate it if you guys could give us a 5-star review on Apple Podcasts. Just search for us at Midwest Sesh. Thank you guys so much for listening.
Thank you.
Yes, and cheers. Cheers all dads. Smoke some dad weed.